where I'm sharing my love for reading at my own pace. Welcome back if you are returning, and if you are new, thanks so much for coming to my video. I do invite you to subscribe down below. So let's go ahead and get into this video. So I am on my way to a local bookstore. I would say local, but it is kind of out of my way from my house. However, I had a doctor's appointment in this area, and so I thought it was a perfect opportunity to visit this used bookstore that was recommended by a viewer or subscriber. And so we are making our way across the little lake, right? Because I need to go to Costco, and this Costco is the closest. So this bookstore is in Mooresville, North Carolina. Why not go to this bookstore after I leave Costco? So that's what we're going to do today. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I can't promise that I'm not going to leave out with some books, because if I am able to find some titles that I've been looking for, or some books that have piqued my interest, I'm definitely going to buy them.
The destination is on your right. Fred and June's books. Arrived.
So I'm in Mooresville, North Carolina, and I have arrived at Fred and June's used bookstore. I'm excited because it's a used bookstore, indie store. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they have in there. Hopefully they have some diverse titles. I read all genres from all walks of life, but I'm really hoping that they have diverse titles in there. So let's go ahead and go in there and see what they've got. So I'm back in the car, and I did purchase a few books, which I will show you in a minute. But first, let me quickly tell you about this book store. So it is an indie bookstore in a little quaint city that I used to work in maybe like a year and a half, 2 years ago. I used to do home visits here, so kind of familiar with the area, but I haven't explored the downtown area, and it's very cute. Really cute bookstore. Like I said, a subscriber or viewer told me about this bookstore. So the first chance I got, which happened to be today, this was not planned. I just happened to have an appointment, a doctor's appointment in a nearby town, and so it was just 10-15 minutes away. So I was like, you know what, I've got to go to Costco, so why not just pop into this bookstore? And I'm glad I did, because it's such a cute bookstore. So it is an indie bookstore. They've got used and new books all mixed in together. So I think that's a really cool concept. I couldn't get a whole lot of clear footage of the bookstore. I will visit again, and I will take better footage, but the bookstore is kind of small, so you know, it was some people around, and I didn't quite feel comfortable filming, being that it was so kind of like a crowded, tight space. But I did manage to get a little footage, and so I noticed that what was different about this bookstore is that their new books that they have, they do order the UK covers. So I was like, cool, because I know sometimes I prefer the UK covers over the US covers, and those are hard to get. It's probably more expensive to buy them anywhere else. But the prices were, I would say they were definitely cheaper than Barnes and Noble's. The highest book that I saw, I believe, was like $28, which, I mean, $30, $2 from $30 is not that big of a deal, I guess, but I mean, it's something. And then like some of the new books were like $26. So if I were to buy those at Barnes and Noble's, of course, or Books A Million, those would definitely be $30. And so I like the way it was set up. They had historical fiction and contemporary like fiction mixed, or literary fiction mixed all together. Then they had a horror and a mystery thriller section. They had a children's section in the back. I didn't even explore their nonfiction, which was like a big section in the middle of the store. Like I said, I wasn't able to get a whole lot of footage because it was like so tight in there, and it was two people like sitting in the middle of the space, so I didn't feel comfortable filming them. So I didn't. But the next time I go in there, I would try to get more footage depending on if I'm able to film, and which I will be going in there soon because I did sign up. Why did I do that? For their rewards program. It's a good thing that they are like, they're probably like 30 minutes away, and to get on that crazy 77 traffic is crazy. Like, it's crazy traffic. So I won't probably be coming over here anytime soon just because the traffic is so horrendous getting over here. But because it's like after the morning traffic and the noon type traffic or whatever, morning rush, it wasn't that bad getting over here. So let me go ahead and show you the books that I got. I only got 3 books, and these are a combination of used and new books. And so one book was on my radar, and let me show you what that book was. So it is this book right here, Murder by Cheesecake, a Golden Girls cozy mystery. If you know anything about me, I love the Golden Girls, y'all. I'm a Golden Girls stan. I even have like a graphic t-shirt that I haven't seen in a while. While I'm at it, I haven't seen that t-shirt in a while. But yes, I am a Golden Girls stan or fan. I could watch the reruns like all day. I used to do that like when I was younger. But anyway, so this is a cozy mystery. I never have read a cozy mystery before, so I thought I would go ahead and pick this up. It was brand new for $16.99, which is a much cheaper price. I mean, only $2, but it's something, right? I think at Barnes and Noble this would have been $18.99, $16.99, so $2 cheaper is not a bad price. So I went ahead and picked this up. So let me quickly read to you what this is about. This says, things are heating up, and it's not just one of Blanche's hot flashes. With Rose hosting her cousin's wedding in Miami, if she can't pull off the traditional St. Olaf wedding customs, her hometown may never accept her cousin back again. Wanting a witty conversationalist for the sure to be strange event, Dorothy tries this newfangled VHS dating service she's heard all about. Unfortunately, what appeared to be the ideal man on tape turns out to be a jerk in real life. So that's all I'm going to read. Is much more, but I'm going to kind of go into this blind. So that's good enough for me to know. And so the next book is a book that I may or may not have. I do remember having this book, but thinking back to the last video that I did where I showed all of my physical TBR books, but I don't remember seeing this book. So I don't know if it got lost in my moving process, because I have moved twice in the last year and a half. Yeah, between April 2024 and February 2025 of this year, I've moved twice. And so I don't remember seeing that book, but I remember having this book. It's The Known World by Edward P. Jones. And it's a book that I really want to read It's used, but it's in great condition. It's got those burnished edges. So this was $7.49. All right, so the next book that I have is this one, and it's called Long After We Are Gone, and this is by Tara Sheldon Harris. And so I do have another book by this author. What's the book? One Night in Savannah, something like that. I've got One Night in Savannah. I think that's what it's called. One Summer in Savannah. I'm just gonna read like one liner of this book. I'm just gonna show you what it says. Don't let the white man take the house. Okay, so I really like the premise. It almost reminded me of a mystery thriller that I read a couple of months ago by Wanda Morris, and I enjoyed that book, and so it may be similar. And so these are the 3 books that I purchased, and I'm happy with my purchases. And now, y'all, I'm going to stroll around this city to try to find some thrift stores, or maybe even have lunch. So I am back to show you what I got from Barnes & Nobles. Now, Barnes & Nobles really was not in the plans. I just so happened to be in the area, and I was like, you know what? I might as well drop into Barnes & Nobles because I don't shop there often, and see, you know, what they have available. And so I really wasn't looking for any books, but I just kind of like wanted to see their selection. And so I was kind of surprised that they have like a lot of different diverse books. Their diverse books or Black authors are mixed in with everybody else, and I kind of like that, not to kind of like be labeled, you know what I mean? It's literature, works of art, and so I feel like all authors should be on the same level. And so I like that about that Barnes & Noble, and stick with, even though I didn't really have a plan, stick with a low type of budget, or go for the bargain books or whatever I could find on sale. And so I decided to get this book. This is Sally Rooney. This is going to be a new author to me. I don't have any of her books. This is Intermezzo, and this is the Barnes & Noble exclusive, because the standard one is yellow, I think, with yellow checks. This one's like orange checks, and I think I like this one better than the yellow. But yeah, this was 50% off, so I paid $15 for this book. I'm not gonna go into what it's about. Plenty of people have talked about this book, and so I thought I would just pick it up just because it's a different book, and I really want to, I read all types of literature, but I want to, you know, diversify my reads like even more, even though my favorite type of books are about the Black experience, Black authors, and things like that. I went ahead and picked this one up, so hopefully I can get to that whenever I get to it. And then, so the second book, I strictly bought this one for the cover, and I think I'm going to add this one to the video that I did about books I only bought for the cover. And it is a book that I currently have checked out at the library. So it is the paperback version. So I thought this book came out in 2023. I don't know if it was re-released in paperback, but guess what? I had to have the cover. Look at this cover. Skin and Bones by Renee Watson. It was a New York Times she is a New York Times best-selling author. I have never read anything from her, but I absolutely love this cover, y'all. It's like a Black girl doing like this with her head wrap on, like maybe thinking about life. I don't know, but I can only imagine what she's thinking about. So had to get this for the cover. I talked about this book before, what it was about, read the synopsis in like a library haul. If I can find that particular video, I will post it above. But that is it, you guys. I visited two bookstores, one used bookstore, used indie bookstore, but also they had new books in there as well. I did like the fact that they carried UK covers, as well as you saw, you know, there was no problem with me finding diverse books. They had Black authors in there mixed in with everybody else. And so I will definitely be visiting that bookstore again, not probably anytime soon, because they are kind of a ways away from my home. The only reason I chose to go there this time is because I had a doctor's appointment in like the next city closest to that particular city. But yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave all your feedback down below. I will see you in the next. Take care and be blessed.